Cyber Threat Brief for May 16, 2026. Cisco drops its 7th SDWAN 0-day in 3 months as attackers exploit a CVSS, the Common Vulnerability Scoring System, 10 authentication bypass for immediate admin access. Microsoft patches an Exchange Server 0-day, CVE 2026-42897, exploited in the wild via malicious emails targeting Outlook web access. Multiple supply chain attacks hit NoDIP NPM package and TAN stack, with OpenAI confirming credential theft from 2 employee devices. Here's the full breakdown of today's top security stories. Daily Cybersecurity Brief. 2026-05-16. Next section, Critical Alerts. Cisco SDWAN Authentication Bypass 0-day, CVE 2026-20182. Cisco disclosed a max severity authentication bypass vulnerability in Catalyst SDWAN Controller and Manager under active exploitation by the persistent threat group UAT 8616. The flaw has a CVSS, the Common Vulnerability Scoring System, rating of 10, and allows attackers to present themselves as trusted network routers and gain the highest level of administrative access without credentials. Rapid7 discovered and reported the vulnerability on March 9, and Cisco confirmed limited exploitation earlier this month. UAT 8616 has exploited at least 3 separate 0 days in Cisco's network edge software for multiple years before discovery. CISA, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, added CVE 2026-20182 to the KEV Known Exploited Vulnerabilities Catalog with a due date of 2026-05-17, EPSS, the Exploit Prediction Scoring System, 0. 16, 82nd percentile. Action: apply patches immediately. This 0-day behaves like a master key and affects all deployment types. UAT 8616 and at least 10 other threat groups are chaining CVE 2026-20122 and for widespread exploitation. All 5 CVEs from the recent Cisco SDWAN campaigns are now on CISA KEV. Patch EPSS 0. 590, 98th percentile as highest priority if not already applied, and 3 additional CVEs. See show notes for the full list. Sources: Cyberscoop CIS of the register. Microsoft Exchange Server 0-day, CVE 2026-42897. Microsoft disclosed a cross-site scripting and spoofing vulnerability in Exchange Server Subscription Edition 2016 and 2019 that is being exploited in the wild. Attackers send specially crafted emails to target Outlook web access users. If the user opens the email in OWA and certain interaction conditions are met, arbitrary JavaScript executes in the browser context. Microsoft has not shared details about the attacks exploiting this vulnerability, but an anonymous researcher reported it. CISA added CVE 2026-42897 to the KEV catalog with a due date of 2026-05-29, EPSS, 0. 2, 44th percentile. Action: no permanent patch is available yet. Enable Exchange Emergency Mitigation Service, EAMS, immediately and follow Microsoft's mitigation guidance. This is the first 2025 to 2026 Exchange vulnerability confirmed exploited in the wild. CISA KEV catalog lists nearly 24 Exchange server flaws. Sources: Security Week CISA. Next section, Ransomware and Extortion. Blackfile UNC 6671 targets Microsoft 365 and Okta via vishing Google Threat Intelligence Group published detailed analysis of UNC 6671. A threat actor operating under the Blackfile brand, targeting organizations via sophisticated voice phishing and SSO compromise. The group uses adversary-in-the-middle techniques to bypass MFA, multi-factor authentication, targeting Microsoft 365 and Okta infrastructure. UNC 6671 leverages Python and PowerShell scripts to programmatically exfiltrate sensitive corporate data from SAS environments. Attackers call employees' personal cellular phones, posing as IT help desk personnel, directing victims to credential harvesting sites with themes like enrolms.com and 2 additional domains. See show notes for the full list. Action: deploy phishing-resistant MFA, hardware tokens, passkeys to protect identity platforms. Monitor for phishing campaigns targeting employees' personal phones. Block Tucow's registered domains matching patterns like organization, enrolms.com, and 2 additional domains. See show notes for the full list. Source: Google Threat Intelligence. Next section, Business and Infrastructure Threats. NoDip NPM package, compromised with credential stealer hackers, injected credential stealing malware into 3 newly published versions of NoDip, a popular interprocess communication package with 690,000 weekly downloads. The compromised versions, 9.1.6, 9.2.3, 12.0.1, contain heavily obfuscated malware that fingerprints infected systems, collects environment variables and sensitive files, compresses stolen data, and exfiltrates it through DNS-TXT queries. The attacker compromised the account of an inactive maintainer named Adjutant. Malware targets cloud credentials, Oz, Azure, GCP, OSI, DigitalOcean, SSH keys, Kubernetes/Docker/Helm/Terraform credentials, npm/GitHub/GitLab tokens, N files, database credentials, shell histories, CI/CD secrets, Mac OS keychain files, Linux keyrings, Firefox profiles, and Microsoft Teams local storage. Exfiltration uses a fake Azure-themed domain, sh.azurestaticprovider.net 443, with DNS-TXT requests to bt.node.js. A 500 kilobytes compressed archive generates approximately 29,400 DNS-TXT requests. Action: remove affected versions immediately, rotate all exposed secrets and credentials, and inspect lock files and NPM caches. Monitor DNS logs for high-volume TXT queries to azurestaticprovider.net and node.js domains. Audit NoDip usage across development and production environments. Source: Bleeping Computer. OpenClaw vulnerabilities allow data theft and privilege escalation. Cyra disclosed 4 security flaws in OpenClaw, tracked as claw chain, that can be chained to achieve data theft, privilege escalation, and persistence. CVE 2026-44112, CVSS 9.6/6. 3. Is a talk-to race condition in OpenShell that allows bypassing sandbox restrictions and redirecting writes outside the intended mount route. CVSS 7.7/6. 3. Is a similar talk-to race condition allowing file reads outside the mount route. CVSS 8.8 is an incomplete list of disallowed inputs allowing attackers to bypass allow list validation using shell expansion tokens in Heredoc bodies. CVSS 7.8 is an improper access control vulnerability allowing non-owner loopback clients to impersonate an owner and gain control over gateway configuration, cron scheduling, and execution environment management. The root cause stems from OpenClaw trusting a client-controlled ownership flag, sender is owner, without validating it against the authenticated session, and 3 additional CVEs. See show notes for the full list. Action: update to OpenClaw version 2026.4.22 immediately. The MCP loopback runtime now issues separate owner and non-owner bearer tokens and derives sender is owner exclusively from token authentication. Review audit logs for suspicious activity involving non-owner clients accessing owner-level tools. Source: The Hacker News. TanStack supply chain attack hits OpenAI. I disclosed that 2 employee devices were impacted by the mini Shai-Hulud supply chain attack on TanStack, resulting in credential exfiltration from internal source code repositories. The Team PCP hacking group exploited security weaknesses in the package publishing process on May 11 to release 84 malicious artifacts across 42 packages. Over 170 packages across NPM and PyPI namespaces were compromised in a coordinated campaign. OpenAI confirmed limited credential material was successfully exfiltrated from code repositories to which the 2 impacted employees had access, but no user data, production systems, or intellectual property were compromised. The compromised repositories contained code signing certificates for iOS, Mac OS, Windows, and Android products. OpenAI is revoking the certificates and re-signing all applications. Mac OS users must update their applications by June 12, 2026. Action: Mac OS users of ChatGPT Desktop, Codex App, Codex CLI, and Atlas must update to the latest versions before June 12, 2026. Organizations using TanStack, UiPath, Mistral AI, OpenSearch, and Guardrails AI packages should audit NPM and PyPI dependencies for malicious versions published on May 11. Review CI/CD pipeline security and consider implementing hardened configurations for package downloads and credential material. Team PCP has announced a supply chain attack contest offering $1,000 in Monero to compromise open source packages using the Shai-Hulud worm. Sources: The Hacker News Security Week. The Register. PWN2 Own Berlin 2026. Microsoft Exchange. Windows 11 hacked on day 2 of PWN2 Own Berlin 2026. Competitors collected $385,750 after exploiting 15 unique zero-day vulnerabilities in Windows 11. Microsoft Exchange, and Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Orange Tsai of DevCore earned $200,000 by chaining 3 bugs for remote code execution with system privileges on Microsoft Exchange. Sion Y exploited an integer overflow to hack Windows 11, $7,500. Ben Ku escalated privileges to root on Red Hat Enterprise Linux, $10,000. And multiple teams hacked AI coding agents including Cursor and OpenAI Codex. On day 1, Orange Tsai earned $175,000 for a Microsoft Edge sandbox escape using 4 logic bugs, and 3 separate teams demonstrated Windows 11 privilege escalation 0 days, each earning $30,000. Vendors have 90 days to patch disclosed vulnerabilities. Action: prepare for Exchange Server, Windows 11, RHEL, and AI coding agent patches in the next 90 days. Monitor PWN2 own disclosure timelines and prioritize patching when updates are released. Organizations using Cursor, OpenAI Codex, and NVIDIA Container Toolkit should watch for security advisories. Source: Bleeping Computer. Next section, General Security News. Remus Infostealer Malware as a Service Operation Flare researchers analyzed 128 posts from the Remus Underground operation between February 12 and May 8, 2026, revealing a rapid evolution of an Infostealer malware marketed as malware as a service. The operation focuses on commercialization, operational scalability, session theft, and password manager targeting. February 2026 marked the initial commercial push with claims of 90% callback rates with proper crypting. March 2026 represented the most active development period, introducing restore token functionality, worker tracking, statistics pages, and duplicate log filtering. April 2026 showed a move towards session continuity and browser-side authentication artifacts, including indexed DB collection for 1Password and LastPass extensions, Bitwarden-related searches, and SOC 5 proxy support. By May 2026, the operation focused on refinement and operational stability. Action: monitor for Remus IOCs and behavioral indicators including Telegram delivery, cookie collection, Discord token theft, and password manager extension targeting. Deploy endpoint detection for credential theft patterns targeting browser-side storage and indexed DB. Educate users about risks of malicious attachments and downloads. Source: Bleeping Computer. AI agents used to discover and exploit 0 Days Google Threat Intelligence Group revealed a coordinated campaign exploiting an AI-generated 0-day vulnerability, targeting an unnamed open-source web administration tool to bypass 2FA. Researchers identified an active threat actor using large language models to discover and weaponize software vulnerabilities in the wild. The targeted flaw involves a high-level semantic logic bug stemming from a hard-coded trust assumption, matching bug classes LLMs excel at identifying. The Python exploit script was assessed with high confidence to be AI-generated based on educational docstrings, textbook structure, and telltale hallucinations, including a fabricated CVSS score. State-sponsored actors from China and North Korea show increasing interest in using LLMs for continuous vulnerability discovery and exploit development. Russia-linked adversaries use AI to generate decoy code that obfuscates malware like Canfail and Longstream, and deploy advanced voice cloning for social engineering. The Android backdoor Prompt Spy integrates with Gemini APIs to bypass LLM safety features and autonomously replay device authentication patterns. Action: expect compressed attack timelines. Patch windows that once lasted weeks may now close in hours. Prioritize patching for semantic logic bugs and authentication bypasses. Monitor for AI-generated exploit code patterns and LLM-driven reconnaissance activity. Source: Sentinel-1. Microsoft Edge to stop loading passwords into memory on startup. Microsoft announced that future versions of Edge will no longer load saved passwords into process memory in cleartext on startup, reversing its initial position that the behavior was by design. Security researcher Tom Joran Sonstebisider Ronning disclosed on May 4 that all credentials stored in Edge's built-in password manager were decrypted on launch and kept in memory even when not in use. Ronning released a proof-of-concept tool allowing attackers with administrator privileges to dump passwords from other users' Edge processes. Edge was the only Chromium-based browser with this behavior. The fix is already live in Edge Canary and will be included in the next update for all supported Edge releases, Build 148 and newer. Action: update Microsoft Edge to Build 148 or newer when available. This defense-in-depth improvement reduces exposure of passwords in process memory. Edge Canary users can verify the fix is applied. Source: Bleeping Computer. Next section, Patch Priority. Cisco SD-WAN, CVE 2026-20182, CVSS 10, EPSS 98th percentile, UAT 8616, and 10 plus groups chaining exploits, and 4 additional CVEs. See show notes for the full list. Microsoft Exchange. CVE 2026-42897, CIS a KEV do 2026-0529. Enable EAMS mitigation immediately, permanent patch pending. OpenClaw. CVE 2026-44112. Update to version 2026.4.22 to address data theft and privilege escalation chain, and 3 additional CVEs. See show notes for the full list. WordPress Avada Builder. CVE 2026-4782, file read, CVE 2026-4798, SQL injection. Update to version 3.15.3, review external scripts for rogue entries. WordPress Funnel Builder. Critical vulnerability, no CVE, or common vulnerabilities and exposures, assigned, active exploitation to inject payment card skimmers. Update to version 3.15.0.3, review settings, check out external scripts. Next section, Vulnerability Disclosures. WordPress Avada Builder plugin flaws 2 vulnerabilities in Avada Builder plugin for WordPress. 1 million active installations allow hackers to read arbitrary files and extract sensitive database information. CVE 2026-4782 affects all versions through 3.15.2 and allows authenticated users with subscriber-level access to read any file on the server via the custom SVG parameter. CVE 2026-4798 affects versions through 3.15.1 and is a time-based blind SQL injection exploitable by unauthenticated attackers if WooCommerce was enabled and then deactivated. Both flaws can lead to extraction of wp-config, PHP database credentials, and cryptographic keys. Partial fix version 3.15.2, released April 13, fully patched version 3.15.3, released May 12. Action. Update to Avada Builder version 3.15.3. Review settings, check out external scripts for potential rogue scripts. Audit subscriber-level accounts for suspicious activity. Source, bleeping computer. WordPress Funnel Builder plugin exploited for credit card theft, a critical vulnerability in Funnel Builder plugin for WordPress. 40,000 plus active installations, is being actively exploited to inject malicious Java script into WooCommerce checkout pages. The flaw affects all versions before 3.15.0.3 and allows unauthenticated attackers to modify global settings via an unprotected, publicly exposed checkout endpoint. Attackers inject arbitrary Java script into the external scripts setting, causing malicious code to execute on every checkout page. The attacker-controlled server delivers a customized payment card skimmer, stealing credit card numbers, CVV, billing addresses, and other customer information. Payload, analyticsreports.com/WSS/jQuerylib. JS is disguised as fake Google Tag Manager/Google Analytics script and opens a WebSocket connection to WSS/protectwss.com/WS. FunnelKit addressed the vulnerability in version 3.15.0.3, released May 15. Action, update to Funnel Builder version 3.15.0.3 immediately. Review settings, check out external scripts for rogue scripts. Audit WooCommerce checkout logs for suspicious activity and notify customers if compromise occurred. Block analyticsreports.com and protectwss.com domains. Source, bleeping computer. PostgreSQL multiple vulnerabilities. Microsoft published multiple PostgreSQL CVEs, including CVE 2026-6478, MD5 hashed passwords via covert timing channel, EPSS 11th percentile. PG base backup and PG rewind can overwrite unrelated files, EPSS 14th percentile. Server undersizes allocations via integer wraparound, EPSS 20th percentile. Refresh publication allows SQL injection via table name, EPSS 7th percentile. Refint allows stack buffer overflow and SQL injection, EPSS 12th percentile. liblow * functions let server superuser overwrite client stack memory, EPSS 12th percentile. Time if day can disclose portions of server memory, EPSS 8th percentile. Create type does not check multirange schema create privilege, EPSS 7th percentile, and SSL/GSS init causes DOS via uncontrolled recursion, EPSS 12th percentile, and 8 additional CVEs. See show notes for the full list. Action, patch PostgreSQL installations immediately. Multiple CVEs involve information disclosure, SQL injection, buffer overflows, and privilege escalation. Review PostgreSQL security advisories for affected versions and patch guidance. Sources, MSRC, 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 and 8 additional CVEs. See show notes for the full list. Additional CVEs CVE 2026-43490, KSMBD. Validate inherited ACE SID length, EPSS 5th percentile. LibYong, lib read string. Integer overflow to heap buffer overflow, EPSS 16th percentile. Engine x NGX quick module vulnerability, EPSS 6th percentile. Rust-OpenSul, heap buffer overflow when encrypting with AES keywrap with padding, EPSS 3rd percentile, erlib 3. Sensitive headers forwarded across origins and proxied low-level redirects, EPSS 9th percentile. ptrace. Slightly saner get dumpable, logic, and 5 additional CVEs. See show notes for the full list. Action, review affected products and apply patches. Most have low EPSS scores, but should be prioritized based on asset exposure. Sources, MSRC, 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 and 5 additional CVEs. See show notes for the full list. Next section, trends and context. Supply chain attacks continue to escalate with increasing sophistication. The no-dip and tan stack compromises demonstrate that attackers are targeting package publishing infrastructure and maintainer accounts rather than exploiting vulnerabilities in the packages themselves. Use of DNS-TXT queries for exfiltration in no-dip shows operational security evolution to blend into normal DNS traffic. Cisco's 7th SDWAN 0-day in 3 months highlights persistent targeting of network edge infrastructure by state-sponsored or advanced persistent threat groups. Exploitation window for CVE 2026-20127 was at least 3 years before discovery, and CVE 2026-20182 was discovered during research of the previous 0-day, indicating deeper systemic issues in SDWAN security. AI-driven vulnerability discovery and exploit generation is transitioning from research to active exploitation, compressing patch windows from weeks to hours. Organizations must shift from reactive patching to preemptive attack surface reduction and assume obscurity no longer provides protection. That concludes today's cyber threat brief. From Carolina Clear Tech, stay patched, stay vigilant.